The story of immigrants has been told through artistic mediums for generations. Storytelling and literature has served as a conduit for immigrants, refugees, and exiles to tell their stories and the many untold stories of the lives of these people. Nonfiction offers first-hand accounts of real triumphs and struggles that people face in their journey to a new country. Fiction can incorporate realistic elements of the immigrant experience and offer educational representation about what an immigrant may experience. Both mediums combine real life and artistic expression in which an author may express themselves thoughtfully and creatively. Audiences get a glimpse into the narratives that the author is trying to convey through their work, while seeing how individual styles, rhetoric, and atmosphere are formed by the unique experiences and perspectives of the author themselves. Many authors and artists use their work to give a glimpse into the immigrant experience that many face in ways that are individual and unique to them. One Pulitzer Prize-winning author, Jhumpa Lahiri, was born in England to Indian immigrant parents and herself immigrated to America when she was young. Many of her novels detail the lives of Indian Americans as they navigate through a new society and culture. Her debut novel, Interpreter of Maladies, is a collection of short stories that gives a look into the lives of several people and families of Indian descent. One of these stories, Mrs. Sen's, is from the perspective of a young boy named Elliot. Elliot's mother hires Mrs. Sen to watch after her son after school, which she enthusiastically agrees to. Elliot observes Mrs. Sen, who only recently moved to America with her husband, as she navigates her new life. Elliot sees the emotional distance between Mrs. Sen and her husband, Mrs. Sen's longing for her family back in India, and the isolation that plagues her. Throughout the story, Mrs. Sen struggles to learn how to drive despite her husband trying to teach her, furthering her inability to connect to her surroundings and American culture. She eventually gets into a car crash with Elliot in the car on her way to pick up fish, a reminder of the meals she had in India. Elliot stops going to her home after school, and we never learn the aftermath of that day for Mrs. Sen. Real women like Mrs. Sen do exist, and they have a story that extends past what people may see. They face many difficulties in America that are seen throughout the story, but do not let these struggles confine them. This is a continuation of Mrs. Sen's from her perspective, expanding the immigrant story. It had been a few weeks since my accident, and my husband went to work. He had classes to teach, meetings to attend. It was any other day for him. He would be home late, he told me, the night before. We got up, I made him breakfast, and he yelled goodbye as the door shut behind him. I was left alone with my thoughts in an empty apartment. I looked outside to see the campus that stretched off into the distance. The apartment was on the edge of campus, so I often looked out to see the students and staff who seemed so small and far. Further away, Boston streets bustled, but inside there was no sound, no movement. There was not even a little boy who would arrive soon enough to be tended to. Nobody to fill the time, not even a husband. He never seemed fazed by the silence. He went to work, probably made plenty of friends, and connected with all of his students. He could drive just fine. His studies led to an amazing, fruitful life for him in America. But what was I to do? America was silence and loneliness. I felt like screaming, just to shatter the chaos disguising itself as tranquility that raged within me. I needed to get out of the house. As I made my way down in the elevator and outside onto the outskirts of campus, I simply stood for a moment. The car was not too damaged from the pole, but I swore to my husband that I would never drive again, and I meant every word. Even if I tried, I knew the shaking of my hands would not even allow me to turn the key. The only other method of travel that I had were my own 2 feet. In that case, I decided I would walk through the campus. I found myself sitting on a bench, quietly watching as people walked to and from. I took in my surroundings, probably looking like a lost child in a vast, towering landscape. The antiquated-looking buildings stood high above my head, surrounded by fields of emerald green grass, sturdy trees, and fresh flowers all in bloom. There seemed to be so many young faces all on the move, but so many spoke not a word as they went. They all wore the casual clothing that I had been accustomed to seeing around, and suddenly my sari felt like a weight against my skin. I did not feel young and hopeful like these students, nor brilliant and ambitious like my husband. This trip only seemed to confirm my suspicions, that I did not belong among these people here in Boston. I became lost in these spiraling thoughts when a woman approached me. Her frame was small, similar to mine, though she must have been an inch or two taller. The wrinkles on her face showed her age, but she wore a smile that was warm and friendly. Her clothing told me she must be a professor or staff member at the college. She appeared to be Indian, and the slight familiar accent that she spoke with confirmed my suspicion. Hello, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting your thoughts. I'm on my way out, but I was sitting and saw you looking around for a while, taking things in. I usually hear about new staff, but I thought maybe you slipped through without my knowledge. Are you new here? What she said struck me. She had been watching me as I had watched all of these students. I hadn't noticed her, but she saw me. I felt silly, realizing I was still staring at her in awe. No, I don't work here. My husband does, though. We moved here from India recently. I suppose I'm here to see through his eyes for the day. I finally spoke. I hoped that my smile was able to convince her that my intentions were simply innocent. Then you must be Professor Sen's wife, she responded so cheerfully. My name is Dia. I informed her that I was his wife, while a bit in shock that she came to the correct conclusion after only a few details. She described all of the information she gathered about him since he started. It amazed me that she took such an interest. She recounted their first meeting, their conversations since then, as well as expressed her elation at us meeting so coincidentally. My husband wasn't a big talker, and there weren't many details to her stories, but she recounted these tales as if they were epics to be performed. You must come to dinner tonight, the two of you. I can prepare everything while you wait for him. Would that be all right? She inquired like a young girl begging for confirmation. I'm sorry, but my husband is staying late tonight, I informed her with disappointment. Her attitude did not falter. Well then, we will have a good time, just the two of us then. My husband will be home sometime after, and you can tell yours that you're with me. What a nice night we will have, she rejoiced. Do you have a car? You can follow me home. The pit in my stomach returned. This would be it, the severance of any connection. I informed her with my head hanging low. I don't drive. I can't. I'm sorry. Why are you sorry? You can come with me now. It's perfect, really. You can help me make dinner. Before I had any chance to protest, not knowing if she was simply being polite, she put her hands up to interrupt me. Anytime you need a ride, you call me. It's hardly a problem. I live close by. Her even tone made it easy for me to believe her. She led me to my husband's office to inform him of our gathering while she found her office to grab her things. When I knocked and opened the door, his face was filled with surprise at seeing me. He stood with concern. Is everything all right? How did you get here? He asked quickly. I eased his worry, telling him simply about the dinner plans that were made. Yes, Dia's very friendly. I'm glad you two met. I should have introduced you two sooner. It's good to have friends around here. It can get lonely. I'm sorry I can't be there with you tonight. I realized as he spoke that he spoke from experience. I almost couldn't imagine my husband capable of loneliness. When she came back to find me, the three of us spoke for a while before leaving Mr. Sen to his work. Even as we departed from his office, I felt close with my husband. Dia and I made our way to her vehicle, where I stepped into the passenger seat. While we conversed and I observed the moving Boston landscape, I felt the familiar embrace of home.